Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Watching the Boxes Fantasy Basketball Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Catron, and joining me, as always, is my co-host, Tyler Watts. What's up, Tyler?
Mike, it's good to hear from you, my man. The NBA has been crazy in the few days that you have and I have not spoken, man.
I know I had to go a little MIA. I had a very important LCD sound system concert to go to, so I had to go be really super cool for a while, and now I'm back here nerding it up on my fantasy basketball podcast.
Those were all words I didn't understand, just so you know. I don't know what any of that stuff was you said.
That was for all the cool people out there. No big deal. Go see LCD Sound System. They're great. Yeah, the NBA's been in turmoil. I tried to do a quick take on the Eric Bledsoe trade, and I think we're going to get a little in depth on that trade in this one, so you don't have to go back and listen to that quick take. But if I did get some feedback that people liked it, so we're going to try to maybe do some quick responses if we're able to any of the breaking news going on, and maybe do just a quick fantasy take in the future. So it seemed that was receptive well. But if you want to go back and listen to 2 podcasts ago, there's a lot of good content on that one as well for a lot of players who might be trending up, trending down. So it's a pretty good one. So tonight, I think
the moment where I say stuff. Oh, my bad. Yeah, no, I mean, I think that the quick take was very good and informative, and you got it out there real fast, which I think it helped a lot of people.
Yeah.
Also, it was only like 7 minutes, right? So, I mean, people just popped that in, enjoyed it. That was it.
Yeah, it was a quick one. There didn't have to be a lot to say, but let's just do it right now. Let's get in depth with the Eric Bledsoe trade. So if you haven't heard, which I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't have heard this, Eric Bledsoe traded to the Milwaukee Bucks for third leg Greg Monroe and a first-round draft pick. Pretty decent trade on both sides of that. I thought both teams kind of got what they needed. I mean, I'm not like pumped up about this trade or anything like that.
I don't know. I take it that far now. I mean, the Suns definitely need a point guard at some point, and they did not get that.
No, but I guess I'm not worried about the Suns competing, because it certainly doesn't seem like they're trying. If they were trying to compete, maybe they would have kept the good point guard they had. And they just wanted another draft pick. That's it, and an expiring contract.
Oh, no doubt about that, right? And I mean, they actually traded for the thing they need the least, which is a center. I mean, they got 4 guys who I think are capable of playing some center minutes and playing, at least 20 to 25 center minutes a night. So, I mean, obviously that math doesn't work out.
No, it definitely isn't. And in my quick take, I kind of said, hey, take a flyer on Greg Monroe. And I kind of still stand by that, simply because of his fantasy value. His ceiling is pretty high if he does play extended minutes. And even if he plays, 25 minutes a game, he's a top 100 fantasy player in the past.
I said this to someone on Twitter. In 25 minutes, he's a standard league ownable player.
Absolutely.
Someone you keep on your roster and hold. In 30 minutes, he's probably trending toward that top 50 somewhere.
And that's exactly why I said, go out and take a flyer on this guy. I know he's injured and he'll be out for maybe another week or so, maybe. But if they wanted to play Alex Len a ton of minutes, they would have already done it. My guess is he's taking Alex Len's minutes, and he's going to take a handful of Tyson Chandler's minutes, and one of those 3 guys ends up getting traded at the end of the day.
Now, see, I'm worried, and this is another scenario and we won't really know until it happens, right? Which is why it's kind of a speculative ad still, is that they just kind of split the baby between Chen, I put the names together.
I like
Chandler, Len, and then, I mean, they've been playing Marquise Chris a little bit at the 5 too. So, I mean, I could legitimately see Monroe playing like 15 minutes a night. I don't think they're going to take him out of the rotation completely unless they buy him out, just because they want to trade him at some point and get something back for him. But here's the thing, too. The Bucks have been trying to trade him for how long, Mike, and no one's bit.
No, nobody wanted him. Well, I think the real thing is nobody wanted to pay him. I think people want Greg Monroe. It's not a Jahlil Okafor situation. People don't want Jahlil Okafor, except for maybe the crappy Bulls. But people do not want him. But I think people want Greg Monroe, and they just didn't want to pay $17 million for Greg Monroe and have that on the books. If he gets bought out, to me, that is the best situation fantasy-wise. Because on the Suns, best case scenario, he ends up playing 25 minutes. Alex Len gets put on the way back machine. Dragon Bender continues to play like 12, 15 minutes. Tyson Chandler either gets moved or plays his normal minutes, right? But there's so many people there that logjam could end up just being a giant crapshoot, and then Greg Monroe's value is still the same as it was in Milwaukee when he wasn't playing a lot. And that could definitely happen. But I'm willing to take a flyer on this new situation for Greg Monroe. And hell, if he gets bought out before he comes back, it's a good stash to have, because if he's going to get picked up, I would assume by a team that needs him in their starting lineup. And then all of a sudden, if you're sitting there with a 30-minute night from Greg Monroe every night, that's going to be a hell of a boost to your fantasy team.
And I guess that's the interesting part, right? Is we don't know where he's going to go, and does he ring chase, right? Like some of these guys want to just get bought out and ring chase. Now, Greg Monroe's not super old, right? He's only 27, so he's still got some years left in those legs. So maybe he doesn't do that. But if he joins, I don't know, the Celtics, I mean, how many minutes is he going to play? I mean, so it all depends on what team he goes to, obviously. But, I mean, yeah, you have the opportunity that he could get big minutes, or he could be in a 15 to 20-minute role, or he could be on the Suns playing 10 minutes. It's just no one really knows right now.
It's still going to be a crapshoot. So do be prepared to drop Greg Monroe if the situation ends up, stagnating or just basically nothing happening, or if he's playing like 12 minutes a game. Just move on and pick somebody else up. That's the whole point of having the guys at the end of your bench, the ability to drop them at a moment's notice. To me, it's an asset to have someone like Greg Monroe just kind of squatting on my squad, because best case scenario is I get a really great player, and the worst case scenario is I have a room for another good player off the waiver to pick up. If you've handcuffed yourself with too many, standard league relevant players that you can't drop, my suggestion is you start trading with people. Like, there's definitely someone in your league who doesn't have as a robust bench as you, and really that bench having a really good bench isn't that great of an asset. Having a great starting lineup is always good, but if you don't have the ability to go after waiver wire players, and this is for standard league. If you're in a deeper league, it's much harder to get talent or even value off the waiver wire. But in a standard league, if you're not able to play a hot hand or pick up a guy because of a freak injury, so some other guy who's going to be playing, the whole Domantas Sabonis thing is a great example. That guy was hot for like 2 weeks. If you didn't have room for him, you didn't reap any of the benefits, and you got none of those quality starts.
Yeah, and that's why I think in like a 10 and even an 8-team league, right, some guys playing those, if you're less than 10 teams or less, I think I'd drop Monroe, right? Just in the sense that we don't really know what we're going to get. We're at least a week away from him playing. And so, you know what I mean? I think maybe you just cut him and look for something who's going to give you value now, especially in a head-to-head league where, you know what I mean, you need those games to win the week.
Yeah, if I'm in a super shallow league, I would do that. If I'm in a 12-team league, I still want to take the risk, because it's going to be a week this week, unless you're not competitive, right? And we were talking about this before the show. A lot of people are complaining about how Jimmy Butler and Kyle Lowry, they're not playing as well as they did last year. They're not up to speed yet, and people were complaining, "Oh man, I'm losing all these weeks because Jimmy Butler's playing bad." I'm sorry if you're losing weeks because Jimmy Butler is playing average. By the way, he's not playing Jimmy Butler like, but he's playing okay. Then your team isn't good. It's not Jimmy Butler that's holding you down. It's the rest of your team. So I'm just tired of these people complaining. And as long as you don't have a team that's that bad, then you can take a risk on Greg Monroe and maybe play 2 less games this week. Why not? Let's talk about the rest of that Phoenix lineup. So Mike James still the starting point guard over there. Are you still interested in Mike James as a Standard League player? You good?
Yeah, this thing kicked me the fuck out.
Oh, no worries. I saw. It took me a while to see, but I saw.
You're just waiting again, waiting for me to say something like, "Oh fuck."
Yeah, I talked for a little bit. So I'll just pick up where I left off. Cool.
Sounds good to me.
Do you think Mike James is still a Standard League player?
I mean, in a 12-team league, yeah, he's probably rosterable, right? I mean, I don't say you have to own him. And in certain leagues, I'm probably streaming him too. I mean, he's not giving you anything that special. He's not playing that many minutes. He's probably going to shoot a poor field goal percentage, so your team's got to be able to handle that. But I mean, I don't see why not. He's getting you enough assists to be on your roster, right? At least for the games he plays in a head-to-head league.
Yeah, there's some assists to be had. He's getting occasionally getting some decent steals, 3 to 4 rebounds, double-digit points. It's that's a pretty good stream. I mean, if you're in a 12 team, I would probably own him. If you needed a point guard for sure, I would own him. But yeah, I mean, like that's a fairly good stream, and I think you'll be able to stream him for the foreseeable future. Because I'm not really sure how many point guards are available right now to be like, what team is going to be like, yeah, sure, Tyson Chandler for a starting caliber point guard? I'll get right on that.
Yeah, and I mean, he's still on a two-way contract, right? So they have to either convert it to a regular contract here before too terrible long, or they have to send him down to the D League or the G League. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's something to watch out. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're going to convert it at this point. I mean, he's their starting point guard, but they could always just play Tyler Ulis and say, "Screw it, you're in the G League." I guess. I don't see it happening, but it's the only foreseeable possibility where I really see Mike James not being their starting point guard at some point.
Yeah, I mean, Tyler Ulis hasn't impressed with his the extra minutes that he's getting in this situation, and
He's one of those guys we talked about the other week where like he's pretty good in like 20 minutes, and in 30 minutes he's that 20-minute guy.
He's still kind of good. Like it's like, okay, he's good, and then it doesn't translate. For some reason, for certain guys, when they go from 20 minutes to 30 minutes, they like produce the exact same line, and you're like, what the hell's going on here?
I guess that means, right, you just you're just good for 20 minutes. It's the Kenneth Faried syndrome.
Yeah, poor Kenny Farid.
Dude, he's a starter, bro.
In Japan,
In his
maybe
own mind,
in
man.
China.
He's one of those guys. He's a legend in his own mind.
Yeah.
Let's talk
So
about the Bucks. They're sexier. Come
let's
on.
go to the Bucks. Yeah, let's go to the Bucks. I'm with you. So Eric Bledsoe, immediately starting point guard. I think he's going to be pretty good there. A lot of people are asking how's this going to affect the rest of the team, and starting with like the big names on the Bucks here, you're looking at Giannis and Middleton. I don't see how this really negatively affects them at all. Like maybe Giannis has a few less possessions on the ball, right? But Giannis is still going to be closing games. Giannis is still going to be the number one scorer here. He's still going to be the number one asset on this team. And Eric Bledsoe might take a couple of possessions, a little bit of usage away from Giannis, but that's not going to affect Giannis being who he is. And if anything, it makes Giannis and Middleton a little bit better because there's now a better player that they have access to that will take defenses away from them.
So I'll say this, right? Giannis is not going to be what Giannis has been so far this season, regardless if Bledsoe comes in or not. I mean, does anyone think Giannis is really going to shoot 60% on 20 shots a game? I mean, does anyone do that?
I'm in. He's going to do it. I believe in him.
So I mean, that's probably not real. I mean, could he shoot like 52, 53%? Sure. But he's not shooting 60. He's also probably not shooting 33% from the 3-point line, which he is right now, because he's never shown that he could do that. And so all his numbers are going to take a step back, but it's not because Bledsoe's coming in. It's because he can't sustain the production he's got right now. Plus, I think they want to play him more like 35 minutes than the 37 they've been playing him.
Which, yeah, and I think you're going to see a lot of people blame Bledsoe for this, and it's the wrong take. He's going to play a few less minutes, and he's going to his hot start is going to move back to that average of last year. But I mean, this guy, he's improved in every category every single year since he's been in the league.
He's amazing.
I think he could do this. I really do. I'm not trading him. I'm not trying to get rid of Giannis. Like, by the way, trade for Giannis if someone in your league is like, not sure if Eric Bledsoe is going to affect Giannis's shots here. Like, make a freaking trade for Giannis at every moment you can.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And I mean, what could you get back for Giannis? Is there any like we'll talk 1-for-1s, okay? Because that's probably the easiest way to do it.
I don't want anybody else.
You don't want anybody?
I mean, no, not really. I mean, I there's like name three of the most obvious people. Kevin Durant.
I think I'd rather have Giannis there.
Yeah, okay. There you go. I guess LeBron is up there these days.
I'd still rather have Giannis. I think LeBron's going to peter out a little bit in the sense that he's probably going to rest some down the stretch.
Yeah, those old legs.
You got more potential there for Giannis just to play minutes in games.
Anthony Davis?
Man. I feel better about Giannis's injuries history of basically never really being injured, so I'd probably keep Giannis in that situation.
You know, I love AD. DeMarcus Cousins.
Still taking Giannis.
Steph Curry.
That's the one I'll think about.
All right, so Giannis basically over everybody.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what you're doing other than if like you're stacked, like if you have a bunch of good forwards and you have a good percentage guy. I mean, like if you're just like destroying people in all of the categories that Giannis gets, and like your guards are a little weak, I guess that's the only reason you would make that trade.
Yeah.
I don't think you're getting enough. I still don't think you're getting enough back. He's the best player in the league.
Yeah, and I guess the only way you do it, right, is you can get them plus another valuable asset, right? Like if I can get Steph Curry and another top 50 player, regardless of who that is, I mean, I'd seriously consider that and probably pull the trigger, right?
Oh, 100%.
But
Steph and really anybody in the top 70 would be fine with me.
that's what I mean. So I mean, there's deals you could make, but I'm not actively seeking them out.
No, not at all. And same with Chris Middleton. I'm not trying to trade him either. He'll be fine.
Here,
If anything, he might get a few more passes headed his way.
here's the thing about Middleton too, and this might even be a big buying opportunity for him is he has not started off great at all.
Yeah, a little slow. A little slow of a start for Middleton. He's picking up a little bit, but
still 42% shooting, for the season. So, I mean, that's not going to stick, is it? I mean, he's been a 44, 45% shooter every single year. Shooting 26% from the three-point line, which that's definitely not going to stick. Now, the assists and the rebounds have been higher than they've been in the past, and they'll probably float back. But, I mean, I think we see probably 17, 18 points from Middleton, like 4 rebounds and 4 assists each. And he actually is shooting more three-pointers this year, so that number could go up closer to like 2.
He's been, I mean, last few games he's been balling right out, but he also played almost 40 minutes a game in the last 3 games.
But now there's the panic too, right? Of, oh man, he's going to be worse now that Bledsoe's here. And here's the other thing too, right? Like those guys are wings and forwards, and Bledsoe's a guard. Like, why would he take their minutes?
I just don't really understand this overreaction. I've seen a lot of reaction about this, and I don't get it at all. Like, name one scenario in the past where something like this has happened, and the superstars, or even just the good starters on the team who are different positions, struggled.
Here's why they're playing 37 minutes a game, both him and Giannis. Look at that depth chart behind those two at those wing positions. Now that Jabari Parker's injured. I mean, talk about some ugly names.
It's not that good.
So, I mean, I think they're going to keep seeing huge minutes, and they're going to keep producing huge stuff. And I think Bledsoe's going to basically be what you drafted in Phoenix, right? I mean, like, he might not score 20 points a game. He might score 16 or 17, but he's probably going to get you 5.5, 6 assists. He's probably going to get you like a steal and a half a game. He's probably going to get you 3 or 4 rebounds. Percentages are going to be pretty decent. I mean, I'm fine buying him too.
So let's talk about the other fantasy relevant player on this team, Malcolm Brogdon. He probably, in my opinion, takes the biggest hit out of anyone in this this whole trade, I think. But I don't think that hit's going to be that big. Like you said, look at that depth chart. Who's going to be playing? Even at the guards, like who's taking his minutes? I don't see Deladova suddenly, playing more minutes. If anything, this allows Matthew Deladova to play less minutes. So Eric Bledsoe gets the start. Maybe they play Brogdon at the 2. Maybe they bring him off the bench to lead the second team. I actually probably think they play him a little at the 2. Simply because he's got a good, I think, chemistry with the starting lineup, because he's already been playing a lot with that starting lineup. But if he goes to the bench, like, great. That's fine with me, too. As long as he's playing like 28-plus minutes, he's still standard league relevant to me.
Jason Terry's getting minutes, Mike. DeAndre Liggins is getting minutes for these guys.
Oh, boy.
I think he's going to get plenty of minutes. Tony Snell played 40 minutes in their last game against the Cavs.
Yo, DeAndre Liggins is in the league still?
Yeah. Tell me Tony Snell is not like a 20-minute-a-game guy. I mean, I don't really think it hurts Brogdon that much. I think that's another overreaction, right? Is they're going to find Brogdon minutes because Brogdon can play. And some of their other guys that are getting minutes are not great NBA players. No offense to them. I mean, they dominate me in a basketball game, but
yo, DeAndre Liggins played some serious minutes for the Cavaliers last year. Why were we not worried about the Cavaliers last year when you saw DeAndre Liggins getting like a ton of time in December and January? We should have been a little bit more worried about them.
Oh, Michael.
Dude, I mean, the Cavs could actually really use a Liggins on their team. They're struggling.
Yeah, they've been not good. Still under 500. Bucks are under 500 too. I mean,
yeah, I mean, it's been a very strange start to this season, and I'm definitely enjoying it. the it almost I saw a tweet the other day and it was like the Warriors are the least interesting team in basketball, and I'm like, damn, I think he's right. Like I'm way more interested in all these other teams than the Warriors. Like I don't even care if like the Warriors are losing the occasional game or I just don't care. Like this is great. There's a lot of really good teams. The middle got better.
Yeah, and I mean, is it that just some of these bigger teams don't really care yet? I mean, we've seen this kind of last couple of years as like they're kind of devaluing the regular season and just really caring about the playoffs. I mean, I think when the Warriors need to turn it on, they're going to turn it on, make the playoffs, and probably dominate everybody. But they don't need to do that yet. So, I mean, I think that might be part of it too. Just like we don't really care.
So let's talk about the last part of this trade on the Milwaukee Bucks, and that is the interesting gap that is left between Thon McCurr and John Henson to take some
Oh
of those
God.
minutes away from. I mean, like Greg Monroe was not playing that many minutes. Was he playing like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, somewhere in that range? Was he
Yeah,
even
so
playing
Greg.
that much?
Oh, Greg was a goddamn PCD, I think, a game or two too. I mean, Greg not getting a ton of minutes there.
So a lot of people were like, "All right, man, it's finally time." By the way, like I thought this boat had sailed. Like
16 minutes a game for Greg so far this year. And
oh,
he's only played in 5 games.
that is bad. That's really bad. So I thought this ship
Sure.
had sailed like 2 years ago, right? The whole man, if John Henson played 34 minutes a game, he would block like 12 shots a game, bro. Oh my God, he's look at his per 36. It's insane. And like 2 years ago, that didn't pan out. Like last year, it really didn't pan out when he had the opportunity. And now this year, all of a sudden, Greg Monroe moves, and they're like, yo, is now the time for John Henson's breakout season? It's like, no, you freaking morons. He's like definitely not going to play 30 some minutes. And in fact, tonight he started, was in, I believe it was in some foul trouble early. He still played 17 minutes.
John Henson, not a good NBA player, unfortunately.
Thon McCurr, 15 minutes. I thought Thon McCurr maybe would get some more minutes because I think that's the direction they want to go, right? Like Thon McCurr should be a little bit more versatile when it comes to playoff style basketball. Having someone that athletic running around and running out on people and being just enormous and hitting the
Have you
occasional
seen
three.
Thon McCurr play basketball, Mike?
I like Thon McCurr. I don't know what you're talking about. I think he could be. He's like incredibly raw, right? But how is he going to get better if he's only playing 15 minutes a game?
I'm with you, but if the goal is to win the championship, I don't think he's ready to play big playoff minutes. He's going to get toasted.
I don't think they're going to win a championship, but I would like to see him play more than 15 damn minutes a game in the middle of the season. Not even the middle of the season. In the beginning of the
when Jabari comes back, I think they could do this kind of wild, like 5-wing deal where it's Parker, Antetokounmpo, Brogdon, Middleton, Bledsoe.
And that's kind of what I'm getting at. Like, you look at how they're still doing this rotation. Like, they still want to go with Tony Snell. Teletovic got 16 minutes in the game against Cleveland. And once Jabari's back, I mean, like, he's like all these minutes are just going. I mean, there's going to be less Tony Snell and more Jabari, I guess.
Yeah, I could see him just kind of playing 5, like no big man, just 5 wings and going that way. I don't think McCurr is going to get minutes, really. I mean, I think we've seen 20 minutes is kind of his ceiling. He about fouls out in 20 minutes a lot of games anyways, so I don't see how that gets better. I mean, if you're in a big enough league where a guy playing 20 minutes is valuable, sure. John Henson could be worth a stream for blocks, right? I mean, 1.6 blocks a game in 20 minutes. But other than that, I mean, what are you buying him for? Maybe a few rebounds.
Yeah, he was worth a stream in blocks anyway, right? Because he was playing, 20 plus minutes, and I think he still will, be the more, I guess, go-to center. I was kind of hoping McCurr in my quick take, I was leaning on McCurr being for like later in the season, him being the guy that they end up playing more. And I still think maybe later in the season that will happen. but John Henson is going to be the more valuable player right now. And we've seen in more minutes, he just does very similar John Henson things. He gets some rebounds, he gets some blocks. Great. Like
Yeah, I
he's
mean,
not a
I'm
monster
not
fantasy
excited.
player. No, I still don't
I'm
want
not
him.
excited about anyone.
I
Just
don't want
not.
him on a standard team. I don't want my standard league team. I don't.
Not excited about. Not none of my thoughts really changed on anybody in this team really at all. Other than I think Brogdon's going to see a couple less minutes probably, but
He's going to
not
see less
much.
time, and I think if they play around, if they move him to the bench, right, that kind of that also hurts him. Well, I don't know. Like I said, I think it could help him too. Like if he's just shooting more and being more involved with
He
in the
always
offense, right? If he's a little bit more go to, it could help him really.
he always seems to me like he's kind of a player who likes it defer though. So I don't know that's the best suited for his game to like try to turn him into a Jamal Crawford like chucker type. It'll be interesting to see how that works out.
Yeah, we'll have to revisit this, I guess, here in a little bit. So, was there any other news going around? I know Al Horford had a concussion. It doesn't sound like it's very serious. He might be out a couple games. I don't think he'll be out as long as Miles Turner. Patrick Beverly out with a sore knee. I think that's just seemed like a pretty minor injury. It also sounds like Chris Paul might be back in a week or two, so that's pretty positive.
Yeah, Nick Batum looks like he's rounding into a return as well. We talked about that a little bit. Rajon Rondo suited up tonight, even wore his headband on the bench. Did you see that?
No, what?
He didn't get in the game. They said he was still hurt, but for some reason they activated him and let him wear his jersey and his headband on the bench. But they said that he was not healthy enough to play.
He
He
was
was
just
not going to get
excited.
minutes, but he just wanted to wear his jersey and sit on the bench with his headband on. So he did.
You know what? I respect that. That's great.
But I would assume that means he's back probably within the next week. I mean, why would you let the guy sit on the bench? He wasn't nearing a return. If he was hurt, I don't think you'd do that.
No, I agree. Let's see. I guess Aaron Baines is the pickup while Horford is out. He
Yeah,
looked
looked
like
good, right? In that
yeah.
game against the Lakers, who
I
are
mean,
not great defensively, but
who
he looked
doesn't
good.
who doesn't look good against the Lakers?
I would not look good against
I
the
think
Lakers.
you would look pretty decent.
I look better than my average.
I think you would. I think you would at least be like 8-3-2.
So the one concerning news bit to for me, I guess, from our friends at Basketball Monster is they've moved Kawhi Leonard all the way back to a December 9th return. So still a month away for old Kawhi. That's looking just grimmer and grimmer by the minute. I don't know if there's really any actionable things to do there. Just thought I'd throw that out there that the news is appearing not well for Mr. Kawhi Leonard.
That is depressing. Especially since I drafted him in one of my leagues. I mean, there's nothing you can do but, grin and bear it. I mean, like, that's what's, upsetting about all these people who are complaining about Jimmy Butler being average is like Kawhi Leonard has been out and will be out for a month, and a lot of people drafted him in the first round, including myself in a handful of leagues. And like, I'm honestly, it's not killing me, but it's not helping. I'm treading water right now, and that's all you're gonna be able to do. So if you're not treading water, it means your team kind of sucks, and you might need to be making some other moves other than wishing Kawhi was back.
Well, yeah, and I mean we can say this, right? There's a lot of guys, right, who are not performing that well, and obviously any stats are better than none, right? So Kawhi Leonard's giving you absolutely zero, nothing. That's the most hurtful thing you can get. But I mean, if you drafted like Kawhi Leonard and Kyle Lowry with your first two picks, which that's not something we would have recommended, but you could have done it, you're probably near the bottom of your standings, I would think, unless you got some real good kind of sleepers in that mid range to your draft and late in your draft.
Ooh,
I mean,
should I be worried about this late breaking news? Steven Adams in the locker room.
no, I don't think so.
I'm gonna have to look into that. But yeah, let's see. I guess LeBron's ankle. He's always bitching about something. Jason Tatum had an MRI, which was negative on his right ankle, so that's positive.
Could be out a little bit though. He's questionable tomorrow. I mean, sometimes you see those guys miss a week or two. I'm not super worried about that though.
Yeah, I think, and rightfully so, especially on a team like Boston, who does have hopes to, reach the finals this year. Like, let's not. I mean, and it's across the league. Like, let's not rush these players back after injury. Let's just be as healthy as we can moving forward. And you're going to see a lot of players missing more time for injuries that you don't think they should be. But it's for the best, because you don't want that guy coming back, re-aggravating it again, and then possibly just being out.
Well, and I think you see that in all sports now, right? With the advances in medicine and the advances in just researching what rest can do and all that. I think we're seeing more and more players sit out with injuries they wouldn't have, and it maybe avoids the thing like Kobe Bryant had that season where he tore his Achilles, right? Where he kept saying his ankle was a little banged up and he was feeling it and he kept running out there, and then that Achilles popped and he didn't run out there for a while.
Yeah, that was sad. I never liked Kobe, but for some reason those last
that year
couple of years I was a huge fan.
It was just amazing because he was a relatively old basketball player putting a team on his back and just willing them towards the playoffs. That year he tore his Achilles.
It was very MJ-like, except for not as good.
And so it was a sight to behold until it wasn't.
So let's run out to our our semi-normal midweek segment. Let's run out to the waiver wire and let's see what's going on out there. What do you think?
Waiver wire.
Whoa, was that a new drop or was that a ghost?
That was the sweet drop for today. Did you like it?
That was pretty good. That's a new one. I like that.
Yeah, I've been testing them out.
I think it's very Halloween-esque. You're kind of a little bit late.
Day late and dollar short. The story of my life, Mike.
That's what? It's better than not showing up at all, I guess. So, we gotta get out to this waiver wire. Man,
did you lose the waiver wire?
So I told you I've been a little busy, having some drinks and going to concerts and partaking in fun concert things, and it's hard to remember what was going on before any of that happened.
Oh man, the hate on TJ McConnell just doesn't stop, does it?
Yeah, why are people hating on TJ McConnell? I mean, I know he isn't like murdering out there, but he's certainly not a bad fantasy stream.
Well, and I mean, 28% in Yahoo leagues just seems a little bit light for what he's producing. I mean, yeah, okay, the minutes aren't there, but we've seen this guy in those kind of minutes, right? Like 27, 28, 29. He's probably going to get you like 6 assists, which that alone is worth it, right?
Yeah, 100%. It has to be. Like, do you want TJ McConnell, like, short term, like if you were going to stream this week, TJ McConnell, or I guess I'm going to go way up there, Jamal Murray?
I mean, you want the upside of Murray, I guess, as far as streamer goes, right? Because he could shoot
rest of the season, maybe. But if I really needed assists,
if I need an assist this week, though, yeah, I mean, I think McConnell's the better bet. Man, Murray's never going to be a point guard. I don't think, in that sense, that he's going to get you like 6-7 assists, which is what McConnell can give you in 30 minutes a game.
Yeah.
And I don't really see the minutes dropping. I mean, Bayless got that wrist thing where his wrist is swelling up now, so that's a thing. Markelle Fultz is still out for a while.
Probably for the rest of the year.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's kind of an undetermined situation, and we've talked about the crapness of their medical staff in the past, so I don't really see McConnell's value taking a hit in a good bit here. I mean, I think he's going to play some semi-big minutes here for a good next couple weeks at least, and potentially maybe the rest of the way.
Yeah, I think I'd rather stream him simply because he's really, he's just very consistent minutes, and that's what you want to see.
And the percentages, although not on fantastic attempts, are going to be fairly decent. I think going to get you a few rebounds. Steals are usually pretty decent. Not a lot of points, but I mean, you got to know what you're buying. But I think he should be on more than 28% of Yahoo leagues.
Quick sidebar. Have you seen these videos of Gordon Hayward just shooting baskets from a chair?
Yeah, they're kind of odd, right? But they're
What?
cool. I mean, like, shows he's really dedicated, right?
I mean, sure, right? Like, I don't understand. I don't. I mean, someone correct me if I'm wrong, right? Like, someone come at me. How is that helping? Like, isn't that like a completely like? Isn't that going to mess up your shot? You're shooting from a chair. You're not using your legs at all, and I just feel like it's gonna like screw with his shot. Like it just doesn't. It's just not a natural movement.
The thing I could see is like doing floaters in the lane, man, because like you just be like pushing the ball at the basket and getting it
That
in
makes
there.
sense. But I saw him shooting like threes from a chair, and I was like, this is kind of stupid.
Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe just like improving some muscles in your upper body, maybe. I'm not really sure.
Maybe keeping that motion, right? Like,
Well, yeah, because
keeping
I mean,
it.
and this is kind of a newer thing, right? Like when you used to hurt your knee, they'd put one of those like big braces on you and they wouldn't let you move it for a while. And then like your knee would be permanently messed up. And now they've realized that like if you have a knee surgery, they have start stretching your knee like the day you have it. And the whole thing is, right, you got to keep that motion in the joint so it doesn't like lock up and your muscles don't atrophy too much. That's why they want you to put your weight on your legs when you have surgeries on your legs. So I guess maybe it's the same thing, right? Trying to avoid muscle atrophy, trying to avoid those muscles stiffening up, so they just keep letting you shoot and shoot and shoot.
I guess it makes sense. It's certainly better than doing nothing. You're 100% right about that. I'm just surprised that it's not just like some weight training and some of the things he could do without, putting any
Well,
pressure on an
Kevin
ankle,
Durant
right?
was doing the same thing when he had the foot thing. Remember the cart? He had that little cart that he wheeled around on, like it was like a leg, and then he would like shoot on one foot.
Yeah, that was also strange. I
That
guess it
was
didn't matter. It didn't screw up his shot, apparently.
yeah. So I mean, I guess maybe it's just a new thing that we haven't seen in the
Hey,
past.
you know what? Maybe I'm wrong. I'm willing to admit that I could be completely wrong about how dumb it looks. Well, now how dumb it is for Gordon Hayward to be shooting from a chair. It's still gonna look stupid, but it might be, maybe it's good for him.
Speaking of another big market team, Mike, I would like to
Oh,
ask you about a rookie point guard whose last name I know you will not be able to say.
uh-oh.
It is the New York Knicks man,
Nick and Licken.
Frank Ntilikina.
Frank Nilititikana. Hey.
So,
He's
thought,
from Belgium. I didn't know he's from Belgium. I should have known that, huh?
yes, you should have. Thoughts on
Yeah.
old Frank?
Well,
22% owned in Yahoo leagues.
he's his minutes are on the uptick, right? He doesn't terribly look aggressive when it comes to scoring the ball. He just doesn't seem like that's part of his game right now. But assist wise, right? Like if we're talking about TJ McConnell being a streamer, why isn't old Frankie a streamer as well?
And I think Frankie, the percentages could be bad, right? I mean, like we could be talking a bad situation there, but like you said, the attempts are minimal, and I think he's going to be better in steals. So I mean, if you're talking like 5, 6 assists and like a steal to steal and a half a game, this is a guy that might be more than a streamer in this sense. He's probably a streamer right now because he's not producing a ton of things other than those two categories. But it's probably a guy I would hold just because I think the minutes only go up. He only gets more comfortable in the NBA and he only produces better stats. And I think maybe after the new year, right? Calendar flips to 2018. I think he may be worth holding on to as like a top 100 player.
It's certainly possible, and that's what you're really looking for in a good waiver wire pickup, in someone who's trending up, but also someone who has potential and a high ceiling. So similar wise, like, hey, Greg Monroe, high ceiling. Let's have him sitting at the end of my bench, even if he's terrible. Same with Frank, right? Like he's young, he's got the playing time. He apparently has the potential if he was drafted that high. He doesn't look terrible out on a basketball court like certain point guards who play for the Chicago Bulls. And
The Bulls have point guards?
no, they don't. I told you they're light years ahead of everybody. They're going all wings, no point guards. It's the new way to play. Especially with those terrible offensive sets, or like it's like the same 5 sets like every game. Oh my god, I can't watch the Bulls anymore. But no, I think he's got upside, and it might take a while though. I think that's what will frustrate a lot of people is waiting on him to develop an offensive game. I mean, he's been to the line 4 times.
He's not aggressive and he's not attacking, right? I mean, I think a lot of the shots that I've seen in the games are just like, you know, I mean, he's not really attacking. He's just like, oh, I'm wide open, I'll shoot. Oh, it's late in the clock, I gotta shoot. Like that kind of stuff. I don't see him attacking at all, really.
I don't see him shooting or attacking or anything. Like in 1, 3, 6, 9, about 9 games. I mean, I guess he's been to the line. He's been fouled twice shooting, or fouled when I guess maybe they're in the bonus, I guess, but whatever.
Oh. He's at 4. Hey, it's more than TJ McConnell, right? We did the TJ McConnell watch for a long time there when he was a rookie. So
I guess this is a pretty good comp. He's a TJ McConnell. Hey, when TJ McConnell played 30 minutes, he was a standard league player. Could Frank become a standard league player? Yeah, definitely. Because I think if anything, they're going to want to run him and Porzingis together as much as possible by the end of the year.
I'm with you there.
Let's talk about Porzingis, right? Did you see the news that it sounds like he might need surgery off season on his elbow to get it drained?
Yeah, that's worrying, right? In the sense that Chicago probably not the most competitive team this year, and they could just be like, "Well, you're out." I mean, they're over 500 right now. Not sure how long that sticks. That Eastern Conference is not filled with great teams. So I think if they get eliminated, though, could they just be like, all right, man, get the surgery, get healthy for next year? Which is not something you want to see.
So that's, I think, the scary part is, let's say the Knicks are out of it. They're not going to make the playoffs, and they just go, all right, I don't know why we're forcing Porzingis to be out there anymore. According to old Zinger, he doesn't see. He's like, yeah, it bothers me sometimes when I'm a super badass and I'm just gonna play through it, whatever.
Well, it doesn't look like it's bothering him that much. I mean, you can see the last 3 games he played 28, 40, and 37 points, and 3, 6, and 3 blocks. So I mean,
not bad.
Not hurt him too much.
Not bad. He's not that bad. I think he's fine, right? So I think a lot of people maybe saw that and go, shh. Just panic. They're like, should I get rid of him? Should I move him? What should I do? And my guess is he's gonna. He looks fine to me.
Yeah, ride or die, right? I mean, I'd go with him here, and maybe if you start seeing the Knicks creep out of it by like January, February time, then maybe you reassess the situation and go, oh crap, maybe Porzingis gets shut down. Maybe I can get some real good value for him. Maybe I'll make one of those trades we kind of talked about at the beginning, where maybe you can get another top player and a throw in for Porzingis. And
yeah, if you can move him for any of those guys we mentioned in the Giannis trade possibilities, like 100% do that, right? But if you're in like a dynasty keeper league, though, now that's still like something like, I don't know. Giannis, yeah, that makes sense, right? Some of those younger guys, but.
Yeah, LeBron, no, I'm not doing that, right?
Yeah.
Steph Curry, like, I probably don't want that.
Maybe,
I got a lot more years of Porzingis there, I think, and so I'm with you there.
Yeah, and I guess worst case scenario, right, is that they shut him down. But if he's playing this well, our next playoff team in the East.
It's a good possibility. I mean, there's not a lot, and those 7, 8 spots are really kind of up for grabs with a lot of teams. Like I wouldn't rule too many guys out other than your Bulls and the Hawks.
I hope Cleveland can make the playoffs this year. That'd be nice.
So here's one thing I wanted to ask you, and it's not super fantasy relevant, so we don't talk about it a lot. Does Noah crack the rotation come Monday when his suspension ends?
In his first game?
Yep.
I I think so. 12 minutes.
I think so too, and that just further muddies up the Enes Kanter, Willie Hernan Gomez, Kyle O'Quinn center situation.
And Enes Kanter playing, extended minutes more than he played in OK City has been nice, but it hasn't been as fruitful as people thought it would be, where it's just going to be like, 55 points and 55 rebounds a game. And that wasn't going to happen. But I did think, hey, look at the per minute. Look at what he did in limited minutes and only 21 minutes, 14 and 7. That's pretty much 20 and 10. And instead, he has averaged in 25 minutes 13 and 10. So scoring a little bit less, but at a much higher rate. His percentages are fantastic. But that's all he was going to do, right? Points and rebounds.
Yeah, and here's where it gets underrated, and in the sense that some people are like, "Oh man, he's not doing anything in blocks and steals. I want to cut him." He's 10th in the NBA in rebounding so far.
Mm-hmm.
I think you hold a guy who's 10th in any one category you count for fantasy. So, yeah, I mean, he's definitely up there. And I mean, he's a guy I'd buy actually, because I think he gets underrated in a lot of circles where people think like, oh, he's barely a top 100 player. Oh, he's a bench player on my team. And I think he's going to be a top 100 player by the end of the season.
Yeah, and I don't think his minutes are dropped probably at all when Noah comes back. I think you're going to see either Willie Hernan Gomez or Kyle O'Quinn's minutes get cut, maybe, a minute off of Enes Kanter, a minute or two, right? But he's relevant in 21 minutes. So if he's playing 25, 27, he's standardly relevant. He should be owned. And if you're in a roto league, you definitely should be owned because he's, of those percentages he's getting, he's great.
I'm with you there. All right, I'd like to ask you about a Brooklyn Nets situation I've been sort of monitoring.
Uh-oh. What kind of situation?
So, ownable man. Okay, you can have one or the other. Both of them are probably available in quite a few leagues.
I'm not interested. I don't even care who
they are.
You
can have Caris LeVert, or you can have Allen Crabbe. Which one do you want here?
Oh, these two guys again. These are like, man, these two are like the same dude. If you ask them for ice cream, they both say yes.
I disagree, right? One is, and this is kind of where I'm getting with the stream thing, is like, I keep hearing all these people tell me, oh, Caris LeVert, way better than Allen Crabbe, blah, 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 blah. Okay, this dude's going to shoot bad percentages. He's going to shoot bad percentages. Now, he is a better fantasy player in the sense that he's going to give you more blocks and steals, right? And those are categories that are important. And even very small incremental gains in those categories mean a lot because nobody gets that many of either one of those.
Yeah, I think that was my original take on the situation.
I believe that Crabbe is probably the guy to own in the sense that he's probably just threes and points. And he's averaged a steal this month in 3 games, but that's probably not holding. He's probably like somewhere by half a steal. But I think he's just going to get more minutes. But then again, Kenny Atkinson is running one of those rotations that you hate to see. Him and Coach Yeager been out for a couple beers, I think.
Yeah, something's up here. Like, neither one of these guys is getting consistent run at high minutes. Like, they're playing 27.
Is anyone on that team?
And then it drops off. I'm not really sure what's going on there. If I'm reading these numbers right, which I assume I am because I'm not super drunk. No one's playing over 30 minutes on this team right now.
And it seems like the fluctuation is just
the fluctuation.
It's just wild, right?
Like the fluctuation.
And like any player you look at, it's like, okay, like a lot of guys have like a 1 or 2 minute variance every game. Their guys are like 5-minute variance. Oh, then he played 10 more minutes than the last game. Oh, then he was back down 10 minutes and he was up 5 minutes and he was down 2 minutes. It's like, Kenny, man, what are you doing, bro? You just like making it up as you go along. Just, all right, D'Angelo Russell's in now. Just hold my finger up. See which way the wind's blowing.
Yeah, like and why are you not running D'Angelo 30 plus minutes a game? Like that doesn't make any sense. That guy is who you traded for to build a team around.
And here's the only thing I guess I'll say about that is I think they wanted him to kind of be a secondary ball handler, shooting guard type, and they don't super have that luxury now. And a lot of their other guys' best position that they have is probably shooting guard. So I'm not saying it's the right move, but I'm saying the move they're making is they're trying to get Crab out there and they're trying to get Levert out there, and that's hurting Russell's minutes. That's what they're doing.
Yeah. It certainly looks like this is going to continue for the rest of the year, and that's going to be really just a giant pain in everybody's ass who owns anybody on the Brooklyn Nets.
Would you own any of them, like, to keep? I mean, we're not talking to stream right now. If you, other than D'Angelo, would you want to hold any of them?
I would hold Rondé Hollis Jefferson.
I'm with you there. That's the only other guy, though.
I like him. I think he's kind of good. He's got a great fantasy across the board type of potential.
And he's good even
right now. He's a
minutes.
steal and a block, right? He's a steal and a block guy.
Yeah, and I don't know that the block holds in that many minutes, right? It's probably closer to like 0.7, 0.8.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's still real good, right, in 26 minutes. And I don't think the 14 points holds. I just don't think he can.
He's not forcing it. He's not just forcing a shot up there.
And there's lots of misses to collect, right, I guess?
There's plenty of those to go around.
So, yeah, but he's the only other guy I would even think about holding in a standard league, which is it's kind of an indictment on that whole mess of a rotation.
Yeah, DeMarre Carroll has surprised me this year by being actually fantasy standard league relevant, and I think this will be sustainable. I don't think this is a small sample size kind of thing because that team, they got really nowhere else to go, and I know they're only playing him 28 minutes, but that's leading the damn clubhouse apparently. And I don't know. It just seems like he's playing well. He likes what he's doing. He's in a good situation. The coach that he had in Atlanta, I think, is working with him again. So that's it could be sustainable.
Where does the shooting go? Do you think it holds at like 43 is shooting now? He shot 40 or below the last 2 seasons, but then he had that run in Atlanta where he was a good shooter. I'm just interested to see what you think where that kind of ends up.
It's at 43% right now. Yeah, I mean,
it's a hard read.
Isn't it weird that stretch in Atlanta he shot 47 then 48?
And yeah, and then I mean he had the year before that with Utah where he was 46.
Yeah, that's very strange. So I mean, this is not like a super small sample size. In the preseason, he was shooting 45%, and coming into this season after 10 games, so almost 1/8 of the season, 43%. Okay, maybe it finishes a little bit lower than that, and even if it does, I think he's kind of playing enough to still matter. As long as it doesn't drop to 39, 38.
Yeah, that's the worry, right? Is like he had 40 and 39 basically the last 2 seasons. And if it gets down there, you're kind of going, ew. You know what I mean? In the sense that that's a big drag at 10 attempts on your field goal percentage for your whole entire team.
That's true. Any of these other schmucks down here in the bottom of the waiver wire?
I got a guy that I've been getting asked a little bit about, and he's getting ready to come back, and I kind of like to get your take on, and that is the Memphis Grizzlies' JaMychal Green.
Oh yeah, JaMychal Green. I forgot about that dude.
He is owned in a whopping 11% of Yahoo leagues.
Would you rather take a flyer on JaMychal Green or Greg Monroe right now?
Okay, what's the league?
12 team, head-to-head, 9 categories, because we're adults and we play with turnovers.
I would rather have Monroe, I think, just because I know what the ceiling is on JaMychal Green, and it's not very high at all. And I know what the ceiling on Greg Monroe is, and it's pretty sexy. And so I'm just hoping that he kind of gets there. I think even in like 32 minutes a night, right, which JaMychal Green's not going to play more than that. I mean, he's barely standard league relevant, right?
I mean, I think he's gonna scrape that drop no drop zone, I guess, for a while. Um, his percentages are always solid. So if you're in a roto league, that could matter more. But yeah, I think we kind of know who JaMychal Green is, right? He's 27 years old. I don't think he's gonna like wildly improve. I don't even think he's gonna play much more than 27 to 30 minutes. He played 27 minutes last season.
The thing I'll say is they got not a lot at that power forward position,
That's
right?
true.
They keep saying they want to play Chandler Parsons there, but I mean, I think we're kind of seeing that he's busted.
Yeah, that guy's not good. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I still don't know if JaMychal Green will play much more than 27 to 30 minutes. Like,
I'm with you there. I don't
I
think
don't know. He
it's.
could play like 35 or 36.
I don't think it's any more than 30. I mean, I think that's a ceiling. And even in 30 minutes, like, what's this guy doing that's great? Like, a little more than half a block, like 0.8 steals in 30 minutes, probably, like maybe 8 rebounds. That's the sexiest category right there, and the good percentages on minimal attempts.
Rondae Hollis Jefferson like blows this guy out of the water. Like,
and so
I just don't know. And I think you kind of hit it right. If you're taking a chance on someone who's lower in a league, like, you know, it's not like you're possibly getting Nick Batum here, right? It's JaMychal Green or Greg Monroe. Like, take the shot, like take the biggest shot you can. Go for the riskiest one, and the riskiest one is Greg Monroe because you got the higher upside there.
Yeah, and I mean, I think there's guys out there owned in less leagues that I'd much rather have, and people keep asking me like, "Oh, would you pick him up? He's getting ready to come back, like probably within the next week." And I'm like, I mean, I'll stream him, but like, I don't really even want to hold him that much. Like, he's not sexy at all.
Like, yeah, he's okay.
A guy I'd probably rather have if I had to like hold one in a deeper league, Kyle Anderson, right? And like, no one thinks Kyle Anderson's that great, but I think I'd rather have him than JaMychal Green, even if he's only playing 26 minutes. Like, he just produces some stats that look fantasy relevant, whereas JaMychal Green really doesn't.
Yeah, not a super sexy name, old Kyle Anderson.
That's what I mean. And like, I saw, if you're running out to get JaMychal Green, I'd kind of caution against that. I'd check the waiver wire again, see if there's someone a little bit better.
Here's somebody who's playing quite a few minutes, owning 11% of leagues on the same team, James Ennis.
Oh God, get the barf bag out.
Listen, he's playing 30 minutes a game. He's doing something. If I'm in a standard league, I'm not super interested in him, but
he is alive on the court. Is that out there?
He's out there.
He is alive on the court.
I'm just saying,
a person living on the court.
If the Grizzlies are playing a lot of games this week, James Ennis probably should be owning more than 11% of leagues. Like, it seems too low.
Well, he's shooting good percentages, but I mean, like, what is he giving you? Like, maybe part of a steal and a couple of rebounds.
There's not a lot there. I'm just saying 11 seems very low.
Yeah, and I mean, in deeper leagues, that's fine. I still can't believe Jarrett Jackson only owned 3%. He's still playing. Still getting some decent assists.
I guess I'd rather have Bogdan than James Ennis, for sure. I know that's your boy, even though he's owning 12% of the leagues.
Don't get me started on the Kings. The Jaeger is the only coach in the NBA who thinks his bench players should all play more than his starters, which doesn't make any sense to anyone at all. But that's Jaeger logic for you.
Yeah, he's
look at every game. Like, Justin Jackson moved to the bench now, plays like 30 minutes every night, and Bogdan's like 24. Buddy Hield moved to the bench, and he's like 29 minutes a game now, and Bogdan's like 23, and Garrett Temple's like 23 or 24. And it's like, why are you starting these guys and then playing them less minutes than the guys who play the same position on the bench? Like, what kind of logic is that, Jaeger? Like, and then to not play Scalabissiere at all when you're clearly maybe one of the shittest teams in the NBA makes no sense to me.
He is a trash person.
And did you hear his quote on why he wasn't playing Scalabissiere? That made me crack up.
No, not at all. I hate to break it to you. I've just not been following the Kings.
All right, so here's his quote, okay? Skal Labissiere has not been getting on the court. I'm paraphrasing. I'm not reading it. Okay.
Sure.
He's not been getting on the court because he can't guard smaller players. He can't guard, like when threes move down to the 4, he can't guard them. Mike, who's been playing the power forward position for the Kings mostly?
Smoking Zach Randolph.
Who has maybe the slowest feet in the NBA? Am I wrong about this?
I mean, he was slow when he was, you know,
a young man,
not 40 years old.
And I'm like, Jaeger, that is the worst excuse I've ever heard for a person in my life. Like, that doesn't even make any sense. Like, I'm not the smartest man alive, and I don't understand what the hell you're saying.
Yeah, that's embarrassing. Like, that is just not a real. It's not even real words. Like, what's going like is what's going on there like the same thing that happened in LA when everybody was like, "Oh, why are you playing Kobe so much? You guys are idiots. Play the young guys." And then it turned out, oh yeah, the whole front office was like tank hard, tank forever. And are they just tanking super hard this year so they can get one of those top 3 picks?
I get why they're doing it this year. They don't have the pick next year, and the reforms coming and all that, but. It's like, I mean, you basically have a young player at every position, right? You've got
how many more do you need?
So I mean, you've got.
Well, I guess they need one that's good. How about that?
You've got Fox though. You've got Bogdanovich. You've got Hield. You've got Cauley Stein. You've got Skal Labissiere. That's 5 positions right there. Now, I guess right, you are still looking for your superstar player, but. Why are you not trying to build around these guys? Like, you're going to lose more games playing those guys than you're going to playing George Hill and Zach Randolph anyways, right?
Why are you not playing them? Like, even the Bulls are playing Lauri Markkanen now. Granted, I don't think they would have played Lauri Markkanen so many minutes if Bobby Portis didn't break Nico Mirotic's face. So I guess that was one of those things where the front office was going to blow it, and then turns out it went fine, and now they're taking credit for it. Even the Bulls aren't doing this.
Well, and like, Vince Carter's got a kidney stone now, so he's not going to be playing for a few games at least. But like, they're running Vince Carter out, who's a 40-year-old man and can still play. Don't get me wrong.
I saw him dunk the other day.
And he's still a good player, but they're running him out like 15 to 18 minutes a night. It's like, why? I mean, just why? I don't understand. Like, you could be playing Malachi Richardson, who's like 21 years old, and you're playing 40-year-old Vince Carter. Like, are you going to win one more game with Vince Carter? Maybe. But, okay, what's the difference between 25 wins and 26, Mike? Like, nothing.
Not a whole lot. Well, actually, it might be the difference between getting a great player and not. Yeah. This year.
And, I mean, Fox looks really good. So, I mean, they did draft fairly well this year, I think. But they're also not the front office I'd want to put a high draft pick in the hands of if I had to say, pick me the best player in this draft. Right? I think there'd be a lot of front offices I'd pick before the Kings.
Yes, like every one of them, except for maybe the Knicks.
I don't know, man. Chicago might be in that running. They keep Fred Hoiberg as a coach. That's all I'll say.
You're at least in Chicago? I mean, it is, I guess, warmer in California. Technically. So.
I didn't know where you were going to go with that. I was going to thought maybe you were going to like use some sort of strange atomic measurements or something that proves that it was warmer in Chicago.
You know, we have a lot of fresh water, and in the impending drought that will obviously decimate the West during climate change, Chicago will be fine.
Oh, man. I have nothing to say to that, so you might as well just move on.
Just letting you know. So I think that's it for tonight. Not too I mean, there's probably still a couple waiver wire guys out there, but we'll talk about them next time. Tyler, do you got anything to plug or any good writing out there?
Yeah, so this weekend on Sunday you'll be able to read my schedule primer for the next week. I also got a mock draft coming out in the next couple of days that will be for the 2018. It's maybe my second run at the NBA mock draft for 2018, so you can look forward to that.
That'll be good. I'll be interested in that one because that's pretty much the only event I'm interested in for the Chicago Bulls. So in the next year or so.
I I used Kevin Pelton's regular or preseason projections for the team, so the Bulls are picking very high in my draft, Mike.
That's very promising. I hope you didn't screw it up.
They're picking a Duke player, if that makes you feel better.
You know what? It does. It does make me feel better.
I won't give away who.
I'm a little worried about the foreign prospect out there, but he does look pretty good. Maybe he might be a once in a lifetime talent too. So it's like, uh-oh. I don't like it when the Bulls have a choice. I'm kind of hoping they get like the second or third pick.
That young man is going to be pretty all right in the NBA. I think he's a special talent.
He looks very good, very very good. Where can we find you on Twitter?
You can find me at Watsy4444.
Perfect, and you can find me at Watch the Boxes on Twitter. And remember, if you do tweet at us using the promo code BOXES for Draft.com, the daily fantasy basketball app. Actually, it's just fantasy sports app where you can bet on live games daily, and you do a snake draft to pick those teams. If you tweeted us using that promo code BOXES, we will set you up where you can draft against me and Tyler and test your knowledge and then take our money. So feel free to tweet at either one of us with that using the promo code BOXES. And you get a free draft. So really, like, you could play for free against us and then take our money without even like betting any money. That's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, no risk on that bad boy.
None so whatsoever. So yeah, I think that's it for tonight. Tyler, thanks for joining me.
As always, Mike, it was my pleasure.
Beautiful. And we will see you all later. Have a good one.